thank you for joining me today on Decorate, Bake, and Create with Lazette Michelle. Today I'm going to be making a cake. It's a yellow cake. So let's go ahead and mix this with my KitchenAid. I gotta plug it in. So let's go about doing that on a low speed. Actually, I'm gonna put it over here now. The cake recipe is from Wilton, and it is 3 cups of cake flour, 3 cups of sifted cake flour, 2½ teaspoons of baking powder, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 1/3 cups of granulated sugar, 2/3 cups of butter softened, 2 eggs, 2 teaspoons vanilla, 1 1/4 cups of milk. Preheat your oven to 350 degrees. I really like my KitchenAid. I would like to get them in every color if possible. I really would. Let that mix a little bit more. Just make sure all the lumps are out of there as much as possible. A KitchenAid is pretty good at doing that. Have you been baking lately? What have you been baking? Leave it in the comments. Every Friday I'm going to be baking something, so join me on my channel every Friday. And I would like you to share what you have been baking lately. I'm so excited. Fall's coming up. I'm going to be baking fall desserts as well. So I think this is mixed fairly well. So I'm going to shut this off. Shake this so all the batter comes off of this spatula, this mixer. Okay. And then I'm going to pour it in the pans, the cake pans. And I had my oven preheating at 350. And I'm going to make 2 round cakes. How many of you love fall like I do? What do you love about fall? I love everything about fall. I love going to the pumpkin patch with my boys. I love the caramel apples. I love the just the scents, like the cinnamon scents and all of that. I like s'mores. That's something else I'm going to be making here on my channel. And And when you make a cake, you need to just make sure it's even all around, like this. See how pretty? Pretty. Do the same to this. See how pretty? And then you just put it into the oven. Like that. Put it into the oven and let it cook for about 30 minutes. And I'm gonna be making the frosting now. So you obviously wanna clean make the bowl that you made the batter in. So you go about doing that. Whoa. Make sure it's cleaned out well. Rinse it out. Oh, good. Make sure it's locked in there. Okay. And now for the frosting. Okay, the cake frosting recipe calls for 2 cups of vegetable shortening, and I'm making the frosting while the cake is baking. So here's a cup of vegetable shortening, and it calls for 2 cups. 2 cups of shortening. I would like to thank my subscribers and viewers for joining me on my channel. I appreciate you very much. I love and I enjoy what I do. And I hope you enjoy my channel as well. So here's 2 cups of vegetable shortening. I'm using the butter flavor vegetable shortening, so that should add flavor to the frosting. Okay, powdered sugar. I'll be right back. And it calls for, it says 7 cups of powdered sugar. That sounds like a lot for this frosting, but we'll see. don't think I'm gonna put 7 cups of powdered sugar in it. That just seems like too much. You could always go about the recipe. You could omit things or add things to the recipe. You don't always have to go by the recipe. You could try it out to see how it'll be, but I think it'll be too sweet. I don't like my frosting too sweet. So that's how much I'm gonna put in. Okay. Let me see what else the recipe calls for. Powdered sugar, a 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and you could eyeball it more or less. You know, you don't always have to get the measuring spoon out. If you're good at eyeballing a recipe, like the measurements, then go ahead and eyeball it. And then the same with vanilla extract. It calls for 1.5 teaspoons. So that's about a teaspoon, and that's about a 1/2 teaspoon. And then milk. 3/4 cup of heavy whipping cream or milk. Preferably heavy whipping cream, but I'm gonna add milk. And then you'll mix it, and if it seems like it needs more milk, well then you add more milk. If it seems like it may need more powdered sugar for the sweetness, then you add more powdered sugar. So let's stir that frosting up and see how it turns out. The speed up. Some banana extract to it for flavor. That's what I need. You know, if you want to add something, if you want to experiment with the recipe, go for it. It smells so good. Wow, the frosting is coming out so well. I don't think you want to over mix it, but I just want to make sure that it's to the right consistency. It smells so good and it looks beautiful. If you haven't baked lately, get in your kitchen and bake. And then leave in the comment what it is that you baked. Because it looks like it's the right consistency, and I am just waiting on the cake now to bake, and then we are going to frost, and then we are going to decorate. How exciting! To move the tripod going to move the tripod, but I'll be still, excuse me. So we are waiting on the cake. Hopefully that it bakes pretty soon, which it will. Let me read over the cake frosting recipe again with you. The cake frosting recipe is 2 cups of vegetable shortening, 7 cups of powdered sugar, a half a teaspoon of salt, 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla extract, 3/4 cup of heavy whipping cream or milk. It calls for heavy whipping cream, but I put milk. It calls for 7 cups of powdered sugar, but I put less than 7 cups because that seemed like it was like too much powdered sugar. I don't like my cakes too sweet. The cake recipe is 3 cups sifted cake flour, 2.5 cups of teaspoon baking powder, a half a teaspoon of salt, 1 3/4 cups of granulated sugar, 2/3 cups of butter softened, 2 eggs, 2 teaspoons vanilla, 1 1/4 cups of milk. Preheat oven at 350 degrees for 30 to 35 minutes. And also to that cake frosting recipe, it didn't call for banana extract. It did call for vanilla extract, but I put banana extract in there as well because I have banana extract. And you could omit something if you would like, or add something to a recipe. Like if you think it might be too much powdered sugar, put less powdered sugar. If you don't have whipping cream, add milk. So yeah, we are waiting for the cake. It's baking for about 30 to 35 minutes. It's still baking, it needs more time. Well, this is part 1 of part 2 of my my cake that I'm baking today. So I am going to wait for the cake to bake, and then I'm going to let it cool, and then I'm going to decorate, and that'll be part 2 to this part 1 of my baking of the cake. So join me, and be sure to join me every Friday as I bake. Thank you so much for joining me today on Decorate, Bake, and Create with Lazette Michelle. Bye.